Some people just like to complain about everything. And by people, I mean the propagandists and the mainstream media. So yesterday, President Trump attended the Pope's funeral, and you would have thought that the media would have toned it down for a day, right? Like it's supposed to be a solemn moment. Catholics across the country, and even in the White House, are mourning the death of the Pope. J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio, Melania Trump herself are just some of the Catholics in Trump's inner circle. So you would have thought that the media would have at least acknowledged that President Trump was paying respect on their behalf. But no, the media had to politicize this from the get-go. According to Fortune magazine, traditionally, dark outfits are worn at Vatican funerals as a sign of respect. And as you can see, the photo is super zoomed in on Trump. He's wearing navy blue, everyone around him in black. But it wasn't just Fortune magazine, the New York Times. Trump's blue suit at Pope's funeral draws attention, but there's just one problem here. They used a super zoomed in, cropped image of the bleachers. That was a catquake. If you look on your screen here, you will see, if you zoom out, so many blue suits in the crowd. I did a count of this picture. I got a different number every time, but I landed in the ballpark of 36. If you want to count yourself and see how you compared, let me know down in the comments below. But that wasn't the only thing they left out. For all the praise that they give to Ukraine's Vladimir Zelensky, why did no one pay attention to what he wore? Because look at this. He did not wear a suit. And if you zoom in on what that outfit is, I don't even know what to describe it as, to be honest, but I definitely know it's not a suit, and there definitely is not a tie there. So for all the outrage over what President Trump was wearing, where is it for their golden boy, Vladimir Zelensky here? And it wasn't just the New York Times or Fortune magazine, it was in the media all day. Fortune really ran a ton of headlines on this. The Vatican asked Pope Francis' funeral attendees to wear all black. Trump wore a blue suit. USA Today, Melania Trump wears black veil. BuzzFeed, Independent, the list goes on and on. But the best moment, perhaps, was on CNN, where they were discussing the blue suit, and they couldn't decide if they were more upset at the blue suit or more upset at the fact that President Trump appears to have lost weight. Yeah, what does weight loss have to do? It just, again, no logic here.
It's a little bit like him appointing Mark Burnett as a special envoy to London, which is tormenting the poor man who's waiting to be confirmed as ambassador. I was so fascinated by the whole sort of playing out of the Pope's funeral, I guess, right, as opposed to memorial. Donald Trump in a blue suit, when we know he has a black suit because he was wearing a black suit the last time he met the Pope, so why wasn't he wearing it this time? Lots of suspicion because he's lost a lot of weight. Who knows how he's lost weight? We know that Robert Kennedy Jr., his health minister, doesn't approve of people taking Ozempic because he thinks it shows a lack of moral power. So who knows how Trump has lost weight, but I found the suit colour very interesting. And for someone like me, who is a boss, is a huge believer in getting people together as opposed to doing things remotely. I think you see the power of bringing world leaders together to have impromptu meetings. Whether or not Macron refused his handshake in the initial meeting, during the peace, they actually shook hands, which felt like a step forward. And then this extraordinary, as Tia was referring to, change of mind about Putin on the way back, saying, what if Putin's been tapping me all along? That felt like a really powerful move from Donald Trump.
Like, they just can't keep their narrative straight, right? Because they're going from, oh, he was wearing a navy blue suit, to all of a sudden weight loss, to all of a sudden, without bringing up evidence, by the way, Ozempic. You know, if dogs are like squirrel, 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 that's what Orange Man Bad is for the Democrats. Orange Man Bad, Orange Man Bad, Orange Man Bad, blue suit, weight loss, Ozempic. I know my microphone flipped and the audio got bad for a second, but I'm keeping that take because if you saw it, you saw it. So anyways, it's funny that CNN was complaining about President Trump losing weight because in the past, the Democrats and the media made fun of President Trump for being overweight. So now that he's losing weight, you would think that they would be happy about it, right? But the reason she brought that up is because it's just yet another way for them to slam Trump, because they have this narrative, right, that President Trump is gravely ill. I've made previous videos about how James Carville and people like him are pushing this narrative that Trump potentially has an STD like syphilis. Oh, and by the way, weight loss is a potential side effect of syphilis. Weight loss has nothing to do with wearing a blue suit. So like, why would you bring that up unless you're just trying to create another opportunity to bash him? I mean, it's not as if Trump's appearance at the Pope's funeral was the first time they'd seen him in months. Like, you see him every day, and you're just now going to point out, oh, he's wearing a blue suit. By the way, he looks like he's lost weight. And let's bring up Ozempic, by the way. No evidence for that, but potentially? Like, come on, give me a break. They know that Trump is doing well. They know, despite what they say about the polls, that the voters who voted for him are happy. This is exactly what we voted for. Sure, we may be apprehensive about a few things, but on a lot of things, he's earned our trust, and we're willing to be patient and see how things play out, because we do trust him. Apprehensive is not a word, but I got distracted by the kitty. So there is that. Well, after the funeral, President Trump met with Vladimir Zelensky. Now, there is no audio to this clip, unfortunately. There have been a few lip readers who have analyzed the video, as well as reporters who obviously were in the room. But it's reported that President Trump here, he's talking to Francis Macron. He apparently tells Macron to go away, like, you're not needed here. The reports is that the three of them were supposed to meet because you can actually see there was a third chair here that the cardinal is pulling back into the corner. So the initial reports make it appear as if the three of them were meeting. President Trump said, no, we don't need you. And President Trump basically accused Zelensky of wanting to prolong the war. And Trump was like, no, I want to bring an end to this. I want to negotiate peace, and we need to settle this now. And you, Macron, you're not going to make that happen. So go away. Yeah, you just got to love how direct President Trump is. No beating around the bush. Let's get down to business. So, Democrats are still in meltdown mode over the two judges who were arrested this past week. Well, PBS had on New York Times author David Brooks to discuss these arrests, and Brooks, on air, essentially endorsed civil disobedience. And in case anyone's forgotten, PBS stands for Public Broadcasting Service. In other words, it is publicly funded by the federal government, and this is what they aired.
Well, obviously, they're trying to send a note of intimidation. Not only to her, but to all judges and maybe to all Americans. But I don't yet know the specific details of this case, whether she escorted the guy out the jury door or whether she's let him. So that's all murky. I don't want to comment on this specific case. But especially on the issue of immigration, there are a lot of people who are appalled by what the administration is doing. And there will be times for civil disobedience. And to me, let's say she did escort this guy out the door. If federal enforcement agencies come to your courtroom and you help a guy escape, that is two things. One, it strikes me as maybe something illegal, but it also strikes me as something heroic. And in times of trouble, then people are sometimes called to do civil disobedience. And in my view, when people do civil disobedience, they have to pay the price. That's part of the heroism of it, frankly. And so you can both think that she shouldn't have legally done this, and that morally protecting somebody against, or maybe not even in this case, but in other cases, frankly, a predatory enforcement agency.
How are you going to openly admit that you don't know all the details in the case, yet basically condone civil disobedience and say, oh, in some cases it's called for? If a Republican did that, if a member of the Trump administration did that, they would be investigated, they would be indicted, they would be impeached for incitement, insurrection, all the buzzwords that the Democrats like to use. Come on, they tried to arrest and throw President Trump into jail how many times? Not once, twice. I don't think I have enough fingers or toes to count how many times they tried. Yet just two judges are arrested for reportedly breaking the law. One judge for harboring a TDA gang member, a terrorist. Another judge for helping an illegal immigrant evade ICE arrest. They're arrested because of what they did for the crimes that they're accused of doing. Yet all of a sudden, where are the bad guys? Where are the fascists? President Trump's the dictator. He's the next would-be Hitler. If the left doesn't come back to reality, they will go down in the history books without a doubt as being the ones who destroyed civility. It's just absolutely outrageous. And they're just digging their own graves at this point. Today, I would like to recognize Bob Paul, Zipped Up Kit, Codename Dad, and Sinister Kitten as the members of Governor's Club. Again, these are people who have given super thanks or tipped the channel. I appreciate your support, and I'm so glad that you enjoy the videos. So, Joy Reid, who was fired from MSNBC, is still making content online. Well, apparently she's as bad at history as she was at her job.
Each community on earth, if you take that away and try to distill us just down to white folks, we'll be like Europe, an aging, slowly dying former empire. The Roman Empire didn't survive because it didn't have enough strength in its diversity. It suppressed its diversity and it died. If the U.S. wants to be the Roman Empire, keep voting the way you're voting, y'all. Keep voting for people like.
First of all, that's a little ironic because I thought the Democrats wanted us to be more like Europe. Like, don't they talk about how Europe's the role model, or the Democrat socialists will point to a few countries and be like, well, they have universal health care. We should be more like them. It's just, I don't think she understands her own irony there. But the next point that I think, sorry, it's so cute. But yeah, I have no idea where she went to school because everyone knows that the lack of diversity was not the fall of the Roman Empire. There was a barbarian invasion. They did have illegal immigration into the country that caused civil decay and unrest. Basically, there was a lack of loyalty and civility. There was economic decline. There were so many factors that led to the decline of Rome. And that was not it, Joy Reid. Well, you know what else is failing and just not hitting the spot? The Democrat resistance. So this past weekend, Hakeem Jeffries led a protest on the steps of Capitol Hill. I have no idea how President Trump is ever going to get over this.
How long ago, my friend? We didn't know how long we would be out here, and now we have passed our 6th hour. All of you. And we're not going anywhere. I'm feeling strong. How are you feeling? Feeling strong. And so
you would find more energy in a nursing home. Or as Gimli from Lord of the Rings would say, you'd find more cheer at a funeral. Two updates I want to talk about before wrapping up today's video. So President Trump posted this on Truth Social, but the very end is what is most interesting. So he brings up the auto pen, basically that scandal that someone in the Biden administration auto put a generic Joe Biden signature on everything. And President Trump is calling for that person to be found out and for that person to be thrown into jail. Personally, I think, yes, we need, unless Joe Biden had someone else do it because he physically, but even then, why didn't they invoke the 25th Amendment? But someone needs to be held accountable for that, and they need to face justice. Last but not least, someone did find justice, but take a look at the headlines here. So Kristi Noem, her purse was stolen over the weekend, and inside her purse, $3,000, her passport, government IDs, and key codes to access DHS buildings. Apparently, two guys work together. Can you notice what's missing from these headlines? If you know the story, you know what's missing from the headlines. But two guys worked together to steal her purse. And apparently, one of the guys used his foot. Turns out they were both illegal immigrants. They were known and had a history of being professional criminals, specifically thieves. And you just don't see that in any of the headlines here. But they have both been arrested, and I am sure they will face justice. Yes, innocent until proven guilty, but I trust that the court system and everyone involved is going to do the right thing. As always, all of that is just my analysis and commentary. That's what's going on in the world of politics from my point of view, and I would like to hear from you. So what do you think about the blue suit fiasco? Like, are you a stickler for wearing all black at funerals, or do you think there's nothing wrong with dressing up as long as it's your spirit and your demeanor and your emotions that is respectful? Like, personally, I don't think there's anything wrong with wearing navy blue. I know black is traditional, but I think it's more about the intent and the respect. I don't think, like, if you're a friend, I'm not saying President Trump and the Pope were good friends, but I do think that, like, if you were a close friend or family member of someone, I would like to think that if you wore something that wasn't black, they'd get it, right? And that's my take on it. You will notice I'm a little distracted because I have a new kitten. Drogon is happy, as well as Matrim. I know a few, I told a few of you in the comments in the last videos that we might get to name him together, like you and I. But honestly, I settled on a name because it was too perfect. Now, here is the question. Do you all want me to tell you his name, or do we want to do with the same thing that we did with the 100,000 guessing game? So for those of you who are new subscribers, I hadn't told anyone the Drogon's name or Matrim's name, and we turned it into a guessing game. And once the channel crossed 100,000 subscribers, I did a reveal and a giveaway. So do you just want to know the kitten's name, or do we want to do another guessing game giveaway? Let me know down in the comments below. If you haven't already, please be sure to give me a thumbs up. I know it's a simple thing to ask for, but it really does help me reach more viewers like you in the algorithm. Be sure to smash that subscribe button and to check out one of these videos.